So I guess I'll start off by doing my thank yous. I want to thank every single coach sitting at that table right there for making me a better wrestler and a better person. I want to thank Coach Brett Engel for teaching me the importance of clubbing. That's definitely a big part of my game this year. And most importantly, I want to thank my parents, my dad for getting me into wrestling and taking me to tournaments, whether it be all the way across the state, whether I went 0-2 or won it, which wasn't very often. And I want to thank my mom, who wasn't able to stomach wrestling for the first 14 years of my life, but for the past 4, she did a great job being my best supporter, even being a coach from the sidelines, telling me heavy hands, even though I'm not sure she knew what that meant, but she told me to do it anyways. So I kind of wanted to take a different approach by coming up here. I wanted to talk about the story of how I actually almost quit wrestling. So basically, to start off, it was the end of my junior year of football, and I've been thinking for a couple weeks at that point, man, I really don't want to wrestle this year. I was thinking back to the previous year, just running around the building, all the live wrestling, just getting my ass kicked basically every day. I was like, I don't know, this isn't something I really want to do. So basically, once the football season finally ended, one day I'm sitting in study hall and I was like, yeah, I don't think so. I just want to live, I want to focus on football, I want to do other things. So I summed up all the courage and I finally texted my dad, and what I texted him was, I want to talk to you about my winter plan. I don't know, that's just the best thing I could come up with. It was, So I finally tell him, I say, I'm gonna meet you at your office after school, and so I drive over there, and then, well, you guys know my dad. Obviously, he wasn't gonna let me quit, so. So I kind of was like, I was building up the courage as I went over there, just thinking of what I was gonna say. And once I finally got in there, he sat me down, and I basically said, yeah, I wanna quit wrestling. This isn't for me, I'm not the best at it. I think my time would be better served if I just focus on football, focus on school, focus on other things. And basically what he told me was, just give me one more year. It's because if I were to quit, this was like a week before the wrestling season would have started, I would have been screwed over, not just myself, but the team as well, and he didn't want me to do that to my teammates. He also was telling me, he's told me what everyone tells you the importance of wrestling is, just how it makes you a better person, how it'll get you stronger mentally and physically. And basically with all that, I was like, yeah, I still don't like the sport, I don't want to do it. But basically how it ended is like I said, it was my dad. You know he's gonna get his way. So he talked me out of it. I was like, all right, fine, I'm giving you one more year. I know I'm gonna hate it and I'm probably gonna quit after the season ends anyways. So basically the second after I left, as soon as I closed the door, I go, man, no way he just talked me out of that. But anyways, I guess what my lesson is for you underclassmen and even the upperclassmen who are thinking about maybe wrestling's not for me, I haven't gotten many varsity matches, I don't know. I will tell you right now, you will not meet someone who hated wrestling more than I did. You really won't. And that's why I know most of these guys who are big into it will tell you about all it does for you just as a person, as an athlete. And I'm here to tell you that all that stuff is true. Looking back at it from this perspective, as someone who went through it, I won some matches, I lost plenty of bad ones too. Just what it does to you, like I really can't even put it into words. Even when you're done, if you stick it out the 4 years, you'll either have this perspective as, wow, maybe that did help me, maybe that was something good for me. Or you'll have that perspective as, yeah, it sucks, but at least I'm done. And honestly, I'm telling you right now, I have both those perspectives. It's great to be done with it, but I'm also glad for all that it's done for me. So like I said, basically the moral of my story is, if you stick the sport out and if you put the work and put the time in, you really will see the rewards. It's something that'll help you as a person, as an athlete, and that's basically all I got to say.
For those of you that have never heard me talk, I love to talk. So this is going to be a fun one. This is going to be a little bit longer than some of the rest of the speeches, but there's a lot of people I need to thank, a lot of things that I need to say before I can close my wrestling career as a high school wrestler. County champs, third place in Virginia duels, North 2 Group 4 section champs, Group 4 state champs, ranked as a top 20 NJ team by 3 different sources, NJWrestle.com Team of the Year, and a record of 21-2 on the year. Let that sink in for a second. That's pretty impressive. That's a laundry list of accomplishments, and they didn't happen on their own. We were handed nothing. We earned everything on that list. The reason we had such an incredible season this year is because of all the hard work, perseverance, and dedication of everybody sitting in this room right now, not just the wrestlers. First off, I would like to thank our amazing coaches. It starts in the offseason with Coach Billy. Having somebody with so much experience Putting in so much time and effort to make us better wrestlers was such a blessing. The passion with which you taught the sport was contagious, and you left your mark on all of us. Our journey began in the offseason with you, and we were so lucky to have you coaching us, so thank you very much. Moving on to our JV coaches, Coach Ron and Coach Bomer. These two coaches helped our program thrive this year. What many people may not realize is how much extra time both of you sacrificed to help the varsity program on top of all you did for the JV program. You're both great JV coaches prepping the next group of varsity wrestlers and contributed so much to the varsity program simultaneously. For those that don't know, Coach Ron was working and taking college classes at night throughout the season. How's that for dedication to the program? Classes and work, but Coach Ron never missed a thing. He would always come in and drill with me after the JV practice had finished. He had worked on technique with me and never complained despite running an entire 2-hour practice before mine. I'm very grateful for everything you've done for me and this program. You made me a much better wrestler, and everybody deserves a coach like you. Coach Bomer, where do I begin? I had you first as a teacher and now as a coach, and it was a true pleasure. You were such a positive influence on me and the other guys, and I'm glad you decided to coach for this program. It was a decision that affected all of us, and it was the best decisions that you ever made. You were such a positive influence on me and the other guys. You always stayed after to help with varsity practice in any way you could, sacrificing time with your family to be with us. You're one of the most selfless people and one of the most hardworking individuals that I've ever met. You stayed for 2 wrestling practices every day and brought the energy no matter the circumstances. You never once complained, and it was fun to be around you all year. I have a quick story I'd like to share about our JV coaches. There was a Saturday this year where I didn't accept an award, so I couldn't make it to varsity practice. Coach Bomer and Coach Ron came in an hour and a half earlier than they were supposed to, just so that I could practice. They sacrificed about 2.5 hours of sleep for one kid to get practice in. I can't say I know many programs that would have coaches that would be that willing to do that for somebody. The devotion that both of you had to this program as a whole is unbelievable. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me and this team. Now I'm moving on to the varsity coaches. I'd like to start with Coach Steve. The first time I met you, I knew I was in for a treat. You lighten the mood at practice every day, and you're such a positive influence on our team. You were a very calming presence no matter the situation, and we didn't take that for granted. Everybody always hears about the calm before the storm, but you were calm during the storm. Speaking from experience, it's easier to perform when there's a coach like you that can hold things together no matter the situation. The fun side of you is something I'll never forget either. I'm going to miss our relentless banter at practice, as it was something I look forward to every day. You're an amazing coach, and this team is so lucky to have you. Always a pleasure, Coach Steve. I have another quick story about the 4 coaches that I've gone through now. So during the district tournament, I lost my semifinal match. And I was on the brink of elimination of not just my season, but my entire career. And I always had a goal, not always, but since sophomore year, I saw what I was capable of. It was a really difficult season, but I had a goal. I wanted to go to Regents, and eventually I wanted to go to Atlantic State. Junior year was rough. I didn't make it there. I missed out by 1 match, and this was my goal all year. I worked my butt off to try and get there. I was on the brink of elimination in the district tournament after losing that match, and I was panicking. I usually don't get nervous before wrestling matches, but here I was, really, really nervous. Coach Ron, Coach Steve, Coach Billy, and Coach Bomer formed a circle around me, sat with me, and talked to me for about 15-20 minutes. They just sat there, they talked for a while, calming me, helping me, and it's one of those things. You don't realize it in the moment. It might just feel like you guys are doing your job, but without that talk, I might not be here. I might not have been a state qualifier this year. I might have never achieved my goal, my dream, and so I really appreciate that. It might just seem like you're doing your job, but it meant so much more than that to me, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Little moments like that can make all the difference in a season. Now I'd like to talk about Assistant Coach Dragon. You are somebody I've admired for so long and for so many reasons. Your sense of humor is one. We compete in the toughest sport out there, and there's no question about that. If anybody wants to challenge that, step on a wrestling mat. You always find a way to keep the mood light with your humor. It's a violent sport, and the humor makes this grind that we all go through a little bit easier. You always joke that I'm going to miss you when I graduate, but all jokes aside, I really will. You're one of the best coaches I've ever had. Not only are you funny, but you're incredibly smart. Your intellect and knowledge of the sport is something none of us take for granted. Having that much experience in my corner makes it so much easier to go out and wrestle. It's been one of the highlights of the 3 years that you've been here and the 3 years that I've worked with you. My biggest takeaway from working with you is never to be the weakest link. Don't be the weakest link. You've instilled that mentality in our team, and I've adopted it as one of my own personal mottos. It's a great expression to live by, and I'm a firm believer to not be the weakest link. So I really appreciate that. Last but not least, I want to thank head coach Dragon. Our adventure's been a roller coaster. My sophomore year started 3-14, and I remember during that year, you gave me great advice before sectionals. For those that don't know, I've said it before, I was 3-14, 2 of those were forfeits. So I went into that sectional semifinal with 0 legitimate wins on the year. You gave me advice. You told me, just go out there, no matter the score, just wrestle. That's what I did, and that was my first real win on the year. That's when I saw my capability. I beat a really good wrestler from Scotch Plains, and I saw my capability, and that really pushed me to the next level. The taste of victory fueled my fire for the following years to come. The last 2 years, there was a few bumps in the road, but it was a much smoother journey. I knew I could always count on you in my corner, and there really is nobody else I'd rather have in my corner than you. You supported me throughout my career, believed in me when others may not have, and taught me things that others hadn't. I mean, Coach, where'd I be today without a Merkel or a Spladle? You sacrificed so much year-round to work with this program and make us all better athletes, and more importantly, better people. You worked to make the Virginia trip possible, entered us into more competitive tournaments, and worked with us day in and day out on specific things that would make each and every one of us better. Personally, you helped me throughout the college process, and that means a ton to me. You're always there to help any of us whenever we need it, and that doesn't go unnoticed by anyone. You're serious when you need to be, but outside of that, you're hilarious, and we love that quality in a coach. It's important to have a personable coach that makes hard work a little bit easier. You spent countless hours working with us, whether it be preparing for matches, teaching us new moves, or anything else you can help with, and we greatly appreciate that. There's a reason you keep winning Coach of the Year awards. It's because of how you motivate us in a competitive and fun environment. I'm expecting you to win many more. These last 3 years have been a blast, and I wish you all the best in the future. We'll stay in touch, and I'll be sure to come back next year. It takes dedication and effort of all these coaches to win a state championship. There's no secret to it. The amount of time and effort all you coaches spent with us is what led us to achieve so much this year. All the behind-the-scenes work and long hours you put in means so much to this team, and we'll never be able to thank you and your families enough. The sacrifices you made to be with us every day will never be forgotten. From a personal standpoint, I would never be here today without all of you. You pushed me to work harder, overcome obstacles, and become the best version of myself possible. Sitting as 3-14 as a sophomore, I never would have imagined how far I could come. Who would have thought during my sophomore year that one day I'd be in Atlantic City wrestling amongst the best wrestlers in the state? I've always believed that if you dream it, you can do it, and I dreamt of moments like that my entire life. With your help, I was able to turn my dreams into reality and go from rags to riches. So with all of you by my side, I was able to achieve far more than I ever could have imagined. Thank you very much. Before I move on from the coaches, I would like to thank middle school and elementary coaches as well. Coach Corbett, one of my first coaches ever, you're amazing. Thank you very much. Coach Dill and Coach Mealy, you guys run an amazing program, and I never forgot how much that meant to me, wrestling around in there. I would like to give a special thank you to Mr. Oliver. Without you introducing me to the sport of wrestling, I wouldn't be here today. If you hadn't pushed me to sign up back in 2nd grade, I never would have fallen in love with the sport. That was the best decision of my life. Thank you very much. I would like to thank everyone who supported us all year. First and foremost, thank you to the administration. Dr. Lazovic and Mr. Graber bleached their hair to support our team, and we had a lot of backing from the teachers in the school, which was amazing. Mr. Mancino, I saw you at almost every match. I saw you down there at Rutgers. It's amazing to have an AD that is that invested in the program, so thank you. Nothing here would be possible without the support of all our parents as well. It's no secret. All year, you worked so hard and selflessly put our priorities first to help us reach our goals and achieve greatness like we have this year. I would like to thank both of my parents personally. Mom, you've taught me the values of hard work and dedication and instilled perseverance into me. Your positive attitude continues to inspire me throughout my life and motivate me to be the best version of myself possible. You mean the world to me. You have made me into much more than a good wrestler. You've made me into a good person, and I love you for that. Dad, you were always my #1 fan, no matter what. You took up the sport of wrestling after I joined so that you could be a part of my journey. You've sacrificed time and effort to help me improve, and I appreciate everything you've done for me. This was a fantastic season. I'm so glad I got to share it with both of you. So Mom and Dad, as I say goodbye to high school wrestling, and began to embark on a new adventure, I'm really happy and lucky to have both of you in my life. To all of our amazing parents, thank you for all you do for the program. I've known many of you for a long time and met some of you for the first time this year, but you all had one thing in common. You are all great people that made many sacrifices so that your sons could wrestle this year. We had a great group of guys in the room, and that's a testament to how well you raised your sons. Thank you to all of our wonderful parents. Lastly, I would like to address my teammates. To all the underclassmen, you are some of the hardest working guys I've ever wrestled with. That goes to everyone, but the underclassmen, I'd like to start with the JV teammates. You guys had an awesome year. You should all be very proud of yourselves and the hard work you put in. Keep working hard, because I can tell you from personal experience, hard work always pays off. It shines even when you think it might not. You've all grown so much this year as wrestlers and as people. I hope to see you all back in the room next year. To my varsity teammates, what a year. I'm still in awe of all of our accomplishments that we accomplished together. We left a legacy in Ridge High School, and not many people can say that. The great part for you is that you'll all have a chance to do it again next year. Anything is possible, as we've proven this year. So keep working hard. I'm expecting to come back and see you guys win another state title. Remember how great it felt winning that match, and use that as motivation to keep working hard in the offseason so that you can do it again. Nobody feels great every day. Nobody's at 100%. The winners are the ones who push through it and really make the effort to put in the extra work. There's a saying, good things come to those who wait. That may be true, but better things come to those who work for them. Keep working hard and savor every moment. One day you'll all be up here in my place, and I can tell you for a fact you're going to wish you had more time on the mat. Enjoy every moment and live in the present. This is by far my favorite team that I've ever been a part of. My favorite thing I've ever been a part of in my life. We're a classy team and great chemistry. We had great chemistry. We accomplished so much on the mat, but we did it with class. I've never had so much fun in my life than going out there to battle with you boys. I'm gonna miss all of you so much, but I'm excited to see how much you accomplish next year. You're like a second family to me, and I love you boys. I'm sure this goes without saying, but if you ever need anything or want to talk, I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to stay in touch. To my senior teammates, this is a phenomenal season to end on. What a way to perform during the Year of the Dragon. The final whistle is blown, but the memories will last forever. I've been wrestling with all of you for longer than I can count. There's no 7 guys I would rather go to battle with, and to do what we did this year was remarkable. Not many could say they've accomplished what we did. You all brought something really special to this team. The 2023 to 2024 Ridge Wrestling team will be one that is looked upon for generations to come. We have etched our names in the history books, and all the hard work we put in for so many years came to light this year. I have so many great memories with all of you, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you. As we go our separate ways, I wish you all nothing but the best in your future endeavors. You're off to do great things and make a difference in the world. Never forget all the valuable lessons you learned from this sport and all the memories you've made. I never wanted the season to end, as I'm sure all of you didn't either. However, don't be sad that it's over, be happy that it happened.